I don't know what to fucking do.
What's up, Epic Gamers? So it's part 3 of the Death Note series. If you haven't seen part 1, there's a little playlist. I'll have it up in the corner where you can click on it. Let's start from part 1. I'm gonna keep the intro pretty short. If you know, you know. Let's go ahead and get into it. We open up this episode with the aftermath of the last episode. Ray spills the beans to Light just a little bit, and then he dips.
Listen carefully. I came to Japan as part of a secret investigation, so the local police can't find out that
I understand.
Light walks away victorious.
It's obvious that he doesn't suspect me. And as for the police, I'm sure they'll treat this as just another unfortunate accident.
We see Ray returning home to his fiancée, Shoko.
the bus I was on got hijacked, if you can believe it.
A bus jacking?
Some junkie robbed a bank 2 days ago, and I guess he wanted to try taking on a bus today.
She rivals Elle on getting close to the case, but she has a lot of dumb luck.
You know, it's a little hard to believe that that was all a coincidence, don't you think?
We also get a nice exposition dump about the parents and the potential kids.
Look, darling, you and I know you used to be one of the best agents in the FBI, but now you're my fiancé, Naomi. We talked about this. You're not an agent anymore, so just leave it alone. You wouldn't get involved with the Kira case, and you wouldn't do anything dangerous. That's what you promised when we decided you'd come with me so I could meet your parents in Japan. You do remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, once we have a few kids running around, you'll probably be so busy you'll forget you were ever an agent. Your mind will be occupied with better things, too. More importantly, tell me how I can convince your dad I'm worthy of his daughter. Kira doesn't scare me half as much as he does.
We then cut to Light and Ryuk back at Light's house where he is making his next moves.
I'm gonna wait 1 week before writing his name. I'll write his name in here once I've given them time to investigate more people with ties to the police. It'll be less obvious that way. Think I'll use some of those inmates I've been keeping alive to play around with Elle a little more.
Elle gets another clue from Watari about another suicide note left behind.
Another victim. This one left what appears to be a suicide note.
Elle, do you know? Gods of death. Is he trying to tell us that gods of death exist?
We then cut to a train station a few days later.
This place is crawling with humans. How you gonna do it here?
Light's catching Ryuk and the audience up to date on some of the stuff he's learned about the Death Note.
Experiments?
Yeah. For example, if I write a cause of death and the circumstances leading up to it, I can add a name afterwards and it'll still happen.
Light then makes his grand move on Ray Penber.
Mr. Ray Penber, turn around and you're dead. I am Kira.
After demonstrating his power, Light gives Ray a transmitter and then gives him further instructions from the transmitter.
First, take the transceiver out of the envelope, then put the earpiece in and await my instructions.
A transceiver. This thing looks like a toy.
Whenever Light is saying that he has hostages, using the girl is just a guess, but Ray falls into his trap, giving Light the perfect ammunition to use.
I'm sure you care more about your loved ones than any of these people here. Imagine how you'd feel if one of them was killed just because you refused to cooperate. I think you should consider them the real hostages at the moment.
How do you know about her?
He then instructs Ray to fill out the paperwork he gave him.
Now, one by one, you're going to look at each photo and then write that agent's name in the space provided. You're going to do this for each agent.
Ray is then told to keep riding the train.
You're going to stay in your seat and ride the train for at least another 30 minutes. When you are absolutely certain that nobody will notice you leaving without the envelope, you can get off the train.
When he gets off, that's when he has a heart attack. In his last moments, Ray sees that Light is Kira.
Light Yagami.
Farewell, Ray Penber.
We then get a breakdown of what happened.
Ray Penber wrote all of those names on pages taken from the Death Note. As for Penber's boss, He died of a heart attack after sending all of his agents a file. And the other 11 investigators? They all died of heart attacks after receiving the same file.
We see Elle getting a call from the FBI director where the director informs Elle about what happened and pulls out.
All of our agents in Japan are dead.
I can only assume that Kira is behind this. It's already decided. We're calling off our investigation.
Elle then gets a call from the chief of police where he is upset about being investigated by the FBI without knowing it.
Elle, I just got off the phone with the director of the FBI. According to him, it seems that you arranged for the FBI to come to Japan and investigate everyone here associated with the task force. So how do you explain this? Are we now suspects in our own investigation?
We then cut to see Shoko crying, hearing the news about Rei's death.
No, he was murdered by Kira.
Light's father breaks the news to his family about how he's on the Kira case and the recent deaths of the FBI agents.
I'm sure you've heard of this Kira investigation. Well, I'm currently in charge of it.
What? Are you serious?
His family begs him to quit, but Light stands up and promises to execute Kira if his father is hurt.
Dad, you should quit too. I don't want you to die. What if he gets you?
That's right. Your life is so much more important than some job.
I think it's honorable of you, Dad. I'm proud to be able to call you my father. And if anything should ever happen to you, I'm going to find Kira and make sure he gets executed.
We then cut to the police station where the chief is advising only the dedicated to stay.
If anyone wants to leave this investigation, now is the time. You won't be demoted if you choose not to stay. You have my word. You have to be willing to fight against him, even if that means making the ultimate sacrifice. That is all.
We see Shoko chasing leads and getting information about Rei's death.
There's no doubt about it. I remember him because he told us to get down, but I don't really remember any of the other passengers.
We then see the final 6 detectives staying on the case.
5 men, huh? Well, 6, including myself.
The police team asks to meet Elle if they are really to trust him and work with him.
Elle just said that he's decided to trust us now. But honestly, what reason do we have to trust him?
If you truly meant what you said about trusting the 6 of us, could you come here so we can all meet in person?
Elle then gives them the information for a meeting. The police force are skeptical, but Chief Yagami breaks down why Elle conducted himself in the way he did to get to this point.
The way Elle's been conducting things so far, odds are he's going to send a stand-in or a proxy of some kind to meet us instead of coming himself. It's not like we'd ever know.
There were a number of people on the task force who distrusted Elle before this investigation began. And once we got started, we had detectives resigning left and right. Following that, classified information was leaked. So I'm not surprised that he didn't trust us.
We then see the police team heading up to meet the legendary Elle. Light then reads a promo for the next episode.
Think carefully. Was there anything I missed? And what comes next? There are endless possibilities. The real battle is only just beginning.
Episode 2. We start off the episode by getting a full reveal of Elle.
I am Elle.
This is him?
After the task force introduce themselves, Elle gives them lesson 1.
Bang!
What the hell was that?
If I were Kira, you'd be dead, Mr. Soichiro Yagami, chief of the NPA.
Elle makes them leave their phone in another room. He says it's because he doesn't like the noise, and it's really hard to tell if he's joking or not.
Please turn off all your cell phones, handhelds, and any other communication devices and leave them on the table right there.
I realize he's been cautious from the very beginning, but I still can't tell if he trusts us or not.
No, I just find them distracting. I can't stand it when people's cell phones are ringing while I'm trying to talk.
We learn that Kira is childish and hates to lose, and Elle comes to this conclusion because Elle is childish and hates to lose.
Kira is childish and he hates losing.
But how do you...
Just what do you mean?
Well, I'm also childish and I hate to lose. That's how I know.
Ryuzaki, would you mind being a little more specific for us?
We then get a nice demonstration on Elle's smooth way with words.
As soon as I said we knew he was in the Kanto region, in defiance, he made sure his next victims came from within Japan, as if to say, and what are you going to do about it? Now, what do you think would happen if we tried to use media restrictions to hide criminals from someone like that? I'm holding the whole world hostage, so who's it going to be? I'm not the evil one here, but all those who oppose me by hiding criminals, you are truly evil. That's exactly how Kira thinks.
L breaks down their next step, and he also shares his thoughts on Kira.
How about something like this? Death of FBI agents infuriates the U.S. Latest killings anger the international policing community. Nations agree to send 1,500 investigators to Japan. Psychologically, you'll start to feel cornered, and that will cause him to take some kind of drastic action.
That's interesting.
Kira works alone. He had access to all our classified information. We already know that much. Please keep that in mind and listen carefully to what I have to say next. Using prison inmates, Kira experienced millions of actions before they die. In other words, during only 5 days, Kira came away with the FBI's presence obviously felt threatened. We didn't know even if this advantage. You need to know how much control you have over before you use against police. As we all know, in some cases, our knowledge of these 3 individuals died of heart attacks. But these victims were different from Kira's previous hearts. They were all alleged criminals that come just like some agents, so he is innocent. That's true. What is innocent? If Kira hadn't been criminals, he killed the people, so he got people, so the people were actually used. I'm sure he probably needed a few. He waited 8 days so the FBI could investigate our suspects, trying to time on the internet. I suspect Kira had to be investigated by the FBI in 2014 and not December, if I have a doubt.
After this, L gives the task force some files to look over.
These are files provided by the FBI, and they contain additional information you might find useful.
We see how determined L is to win.
Does the fact that you've shown us your face mean that you've lost? By just being here, are you admitting defeat to Kira?
That's right. By showing my face to you now, and by sacrificing the lives of 12 FBI agents, I have lost the battle. But I'm not gonna lose the war.
We cut to Light, who is starting to get paranoid about someone finding him out.
I'll be fine. I haven't missed anything. The biggest risk I've taken so far was that bus-jacking incident. But they'll never be able to connect it with Kira.
Light then volunteers to take some clothes to his dad's to gather intel.
Your father's been pulling overnighters with no change of clothes, so you're going to bring these to him.
Why don't I go? I could use a break.
Thanks, Light. I owe you one next time.
We also learn that Light carries a piece of the Death Note with him like a blicky.
Oh, you're bringing a page. Planning to kill someone?
I got that thing on me. I got that stick. I got that tool. I'm packing.
We see Shoko slowly putting together clues and figuring out the circumstances of Rei's death.
Rei said that he was planning to go to Shinjuku. Same day, 4 people died of heart attacks in the Shinjuku area. There's no way it was a coincidence. Kira can kill in other ways. It doesn't have to be a heart attack.
Light gets to the headquarters, but nobody from the task force is there.
There is no one at task force headquarters right now.
Shoko is there asking to talk to the task force with information about Kira.
I have information relating to the Kira investigation.
The Kira investigation?
We then see Light uses Riz to finesse Shoko.
Hi, I'm Detective Soichiro Yagami's son, Light Yagami.
Hey, I haven't seen you in a while, Light. You helped solve the insurance fraud murder investigation sometime last year. But hey, no one remembers the receptionist, do they?
My father is actually in charge of the Kira investigation. If you'd like, I could pass your message on to him. I feel like I can trust her. You can almost see it in her eyes. She's a wise and careful person.
Light strikes up some small talk to learn more about Shoko.
We've been talking and I just realized I don't even know your name. My name is Light Yagami. You'll have to trust my father and I, which I hope won't be too difficult for you.
Light learns that Shoko thinks she knows quite a bit.
Kira's able to control their actions before he kills them, but there's more to it. If my analysis so far is correct, Kira can kill in a number of ways, not just with a heart attack.
She knows? Who is this woman?
Light then learns that he's talking to Rei's fiancé.
You see, he was also my fiancé. While he was working, he got caught up in a bus jacking, and I have reason to believe that he met Kira on that bus.
Rei Penber.
Shoko tells Light about why she thinks Kira was on the bus that got jacked and that he can control the things around the people's death.
So, what makes you think he met Kira on that bus?
Because 8 days after that bus was hijacked, he died along with the other FBI investigators. The same man had attempted to rob a bank 2 days before he hijacked that bus. Then he dies in an accident, just like that. I mean, really, what are the odds?
Light tries to put her off his trail, but Shoko isn't really having it.
Don't take this the wrong way, but I think that's a bit of a leap of faith.
There's no other way of looking at it. If Kira was controlling the hijacker, chances are he killed him too.
I still don't see it.
As Shoko keeps talking, we learn just how close she is to solving the whole case.
The operation was undertaken secretly without the NPA's knowledge. He wasn't allowed to show his ID. I think whoever saw his ID that day is responsible for the deaths of all the agents.
Unbelievable.
Light narrowly avoids getting caught for now.
That was close. This woman. If she'd spoken to the police before I met her. But it seems there's a god on my side after all.
That wraps it up for the anime, so now we're gonna hop into the manga. So in the manga, we get to see more of the aftermath of the crash, where Light's date wants to go back to Spaceland, or at least just leave the area because she doesn't fuck with the police, and Ryuk gets cancelled on Twitter. Usually the manga is more intricate with its dialogue, but in both the anime and the manga, Rei and Shoko's relationship is just really forced, and it's very much an exposition dump in both medias. When Ryuk is asking Light if he's writing Rei's name down, Light says he's gonna wait a week, but then he says he's gonna write down another prisoner to keep L company. In the hidden note Light leaves for L through the suicide notes of the prisoners, Shinigami is replaced with Reapers. I'm not sure what this represents, but you know, I noticed it, so it must be something. In the manga, the chief of police hears about the FBI agents first, and Watari calls L to tell him, which I prefer this because in the anime, L gets back-to-back calls, and the timing seems a bit off, and it's just kind of awkward delivery. This seems more natural. I glossed over it when watching the anime since I've already seen the anime a few times, but Light's plan of using the Death Note to do what he did with Rei was not only a 5D chess move, but also reminded me of like those cursed email like chain mails, but like this one actually worked. Also, I'll have to double check this, but in the manga, when Rei tells Shoko Japan is becoming violent, she gives him a side eye, and it's almost like this is what tipped her off, since she's from Japan, and for the most part, Japan is peaceful. In the manga, the FBI director really grills L and lays it on him how upset he is with losing innocent lives, and when he tells L that he's letting the police know, it comes off more like a middle finger and less like a defeated man. We also see L saying he should have been watching the agents as well as the prisoners. We see Light get small leads on L and they really just trade the podium in the anime, but here we see L taking an L and how he processes that loss. Except for some small dialogue changes, the train scene plays out pretty much like in the anime. It shows what parts the anime likes to focus on, almost directly adapting some parts, but glazing over smaller moments. In the manga, we get to see the conversation Rei has to get the files for Kira. We get to hear the other agent question Rei and the excuses Rei uses. In the manga, Light really plays into the fiancé angle, holding someone he doesn't know hostage when they've never met. In the manga, Rei's last words are just Light Yagami and they exchange a look. It's simple, but by being so simple, it packs quite a punch. I'll need to double check, but in the manga we see more of L's thought process. In the manga, we also get a nice little scene of the Yagami family as they're sitting around the table talking about what's on TV. This is one of the smaller moments the anime glosses over to spend more time on the bigger moments. These smaller moments aren't important to progressing the story, but they add more character moments that give us more time with the many people involved in this grand story. In the manga, whenever the police force are questioning L and asking to meet up with him, they go a lot deeper into it, theory crafting, going as far as saying that L might be Kira. While Light is starting to get paranoid over leaving evidence, Ryuk is in the back watching a boxing match. This isn't really important or anything, but I thought it was funny. When talking to the police force, L mentions he believes Kira is using something supernatural to kill, but not something supernatural to get the information. At this point in the story, it's around January, so we see a nice snowfall over the city that we don't really get in the anime. Oh, god damn it. There's a lot of Shoko hate in this one. I already have enough to talk about for this episode, and I don't like the Shoko arc, so long story short, the same shit happens. No characters developed, Rei's super smart fiancé is introductionally about to crack on case, and when talking she hasn't really had any time to really care for the Shoko. So for the manga to say so much tension, unlike how she has built it up, you don't spend any time with case, which is like radiating. Her story arc would be amazing, and it would give more time to develop the eventual widow of Rei. The one nice thing is the payoff of finding out Shoko is Rei's fiancé hits harder in the manga because of how heavily Light played into that angle when talking to Rei. That about wraps it up for part 3. Sorry this one was a bit later than I wanted it to, but I've been busy applying for college classes and I've been organizing concerts and it's just kind of been a hectic couple of weeks. So some of the upcoming content, I have a couple of concerts. I have The Hangover Part 3 hosted by CFB. I have that I have to post. I have the concert that I just got done doing, the Agnostics Birthday Bash. I have that to post. I also have some more like just kind of casual content, kind of like the update vlog, just me hanging out. I have some more of that coming out. I have another movie I wanted to talk about. I have another like animated show series I'm wanting to talk about besides Death Note. So yeah, a lot of content planned, a lot of good content coming out in the future. It's just gonna be kind of slow coming out, but it is gonna be coming out. Anyway, that's enough for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.